like attendees are leveling off, so I will turn it over to Evie Holst to introduce our 2021 Open Innovation Challenge and introduce our guests with Moen today.
Thanks so much, Sam. Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have you joining us today. We are at Cleveland Water Alliance introducing a new program called Open Innovation, and we'll be doing this annually every year. What we're hoping to do to engage innovators around the world is to provide requests for technology from market players. Today, we are actually bringing in Moen, a global brand known around the world for fixtures and faucets and various things for the home in the water industry. And we're very excited to have them introduce a key area of interest for them, which is point of use detection of contaminants. So contaminants that you might actually identify once the water has already reached your tap, in the goal of really helping all of us to protect our health from some of these contaminants that unexpectedly may make it into our water. So next slide, please. Cleveland Water Alliance is an industry cluster located in Northeast Ohio. We're really focused on supporting innovation from around the world and providing different types of assets and partnerships to really support and fortify the work of innovators in the water industry. And with that, I want to turn it over to Mike Shum and Matt Nichols, working here with Moen and the Cleveland Water Alliance to tell you about the Innovation Challenge we're presenting today.
And before Mike and Matt get started, I just wanted to let all of our participants know if you have any questions as Mike and Matt are speaking, you're welcome to convey them via the Q&A function or the chat function. We'll have time at the end of the presentation for any questions. Thanks. Go ahead and take it over, Mike and Matt.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Mike Shum. I'm going to turn my video on for a second. I'm having Wi-Fi problems, and then I'm going to turn it off real quick. Everybody. I'm the Vice President of Product Development at Moen, and with me here today is Matt Nichols, and Matt's a Senior Platform Manager in our engineering team, and together we're going to walk you through a couple slides. EB covered some of this, but for those that don't know who Moen is the #1 faucet brand in North America. That's both in units and dollars. We ship a lot of faucets every day across the country. Moen is a 75-year-old company, headquartered in Northeast Ohio for its entire life, but the point is Moen's been around a while. Our product portfolio is very broad. Most of you are probably familiar with our kitchen and bath faucets. Some of you probably have them in your home or your apartment. We have shower heads, bath safety products, garbage disposals, and recently, we've launched leak detection and prevention devices. We've also ventured into connected and smart devices. Our products are sold at all retailers, that's Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, wholesalers, showrooms, and our products are available online. And lastly, but not least, is the importance and focus of innovation in our product portfolio. To compete in all of the channels that we are placed at, which I just mentioned, we have got to have a continuous pipeline of innovative products that are compelling for the consumer. Next slide. So why this Open Innovation Challenge? Well, first, the product itself, the point of use water quality. Why this makes sense for us beyond consumers, but to our business, it's really a linkage to our filtration products in the future as we look at the horizons of where we'll be. EB mentioned this, but all of us are water consumers, and a point of use water quality device would give peace of mind for us and for our consumers in their homes. And I mentioned this as well, this is a logical next step for us in the expansion of our portfolio in the breadth and depth of our products. Also, if you've taken a look at some of the products that we have in our portfolio, this would be a significant addition down the line to what we call our ecosystem of connected and smart devices. Now, our challenge today doesn't really speak to having the device or the technology connected, but that's where we see this eventually going. And probably the biggest why this open innovation challenge, we are not the experts, certainly not in everything. And we think it's a tremendous opportunity to tap into inventors and researchers with more experience than us in this specific area. So that's really the overarching reason why this open innovation challenge. And now Matt's going to walk you through some of the what's of the actual RFD.
Yep. Thank you, Mike. So to go through the request for technology, really what we're focused on here is contaminant detection, right? Filtering out those minerals that might not be, that are harmful to your body if they're in excess, right? So lead, arsenic, radium, things of that nature. There are other dissolved solids in water that are helpful to your body, but we want to make sure that we're focusing on the ones that are harmful to your health. You see a small list of those up there at the first bullet point that we would be targeting. But we're looking for those items that are, as I mentioned, harmful to your health and difficult to detect. The most prevalent way to detect harmful elements in the water is through total dissolved solids, but it's not something that can be done in real-time communication. So what we're looking for here is a product which can detect harmful elements in real time and then communicate that back to the consumer as quickly as possible. You know, we're familiar with events in the news where people have contaminated water, but it can be spread across the entire country in different pockets. So it's important that we're able to understand what's going on in your particular home. So we want that information to be communicated to the consumer in a real-time fashion. When this device is created, we want it to be able to sit at the point of use where consumers are consuming their water and where they're using it. Ideally, it should fit into a kitchen cabinet. A lot of consumers and filtration products are installed in the kitchen, so that's where we'd ideally like this product to reside. As far as intellectual property, we don't have any requirement for IP status, but it will be considered. And then cost, we're looking for a total cost of about less than $50. So that's the general requirements of the technology. So, you know, if there's any questions, please let us know.
I just want to provide an overview for all of you about the schedule ahead. So today is our first webinar. We have an email address for questions to come in. Will be redirected to our broader team to be able to get you as timely a response as we can give you. And out of those questions, we'll also be developing an FAQ for reference as well. The second webinar will be Wednesday, March 31st, same time. We anticipate that you and your colleagues and friends that may also have an interest in this particular challenge may have more questions as you really dive into that RFT. So we wanted to provide some time between now and the next one for some of that deeper dive. Letters of intent are required prior to any proposal submission, and those are due April 16th, with the proposals due June 14th. Something I just want to point out about this timeline is we really wanted to give innovators out there a good amount of time to prepare for something like this. So you've got some of those requirements in the RFT itself, the criteria. You know, if you think you have something that might work, we want to give you time to test it with some of these particular specifications, to be able to partner if you need to in order to respond with something that might be of interest to the Moen team. So use that time and you know, really try to bring something forward that you think could be of interest. I think the opportunity here working with Moen is a big one. I mean, there's there's interest in devices that can actually meet some of these criteria that in fact will be of potential interest to maybe license or beyond, certainly with further testing with Moen down the line. So invitations, once those proposals come in, the invitations will go out a couple of weeks later. What happens with that is essentially the Moen team will take a look at the proposals and identify ones that look like they're of particular interest and extend an invitation to participate in testing through the use of Moen's labs and the team there, the technicians there that will help to do some assessment. We have a nice long period of time for that testing to take place. Those who are actually invited to test will get further detail on this, but it will be by appointment only, and certainly with COVID, we'll need to take some precautions if necessary. And then once the testing period closes at the end of August, a winner will be announced. There is a cash reward as is indicated in the RFT. But almost more importantly, there is this opportunity to further develop a relationship with Moen. And of course, we'll be providing some media coverage on all of this as we really help to promote the innovations underway. So that's the overview. If you have any questions, please submit them into the Q&A, and we may free up some time for you if we move through this quickly, and more to come in the next webinar.
We have a question come through the chat asking if this is being recorded. Yes, this is being recorded. We will send it to all attendees, and we'll make it live on the Open Innovation website as well, which is clevelandwateralliance.com or .org/innovate. And so we'll send that information so you can share it with any folks who are not watching live. And so we have a couple questions coming in here that I'll read. How fast is real time? Second scale, minute scale? Matt, I'll let you take that one over.
Yeah, so we don't have, sorry, I was getting some feedback. We don't have a defined metric on real time. Second minute would be acceptable. A few hours would probably be acceptable. But a few days would not be something that we'd consider real time or acceptable. But I think as you guys develop your technologies and you do some more investigation, that would be a metric that I think you would want to quantify and kind of bring to us and say, we could do this in this much time. So I think that would be something that you guys could bring to us and kind of show what's possible.
Great, thank you. And this one's for Evie. Where can we find the format of the LOI that needs to be submitted?
The format of the LOI that needs to be submitted is actually outlined within the request for technologies, within the RFT that went out, which as Sam mentioned, you can access that information and download the RFT itself from clevelandwateralliance.org/innovate.
And this one's probably for both Evie and Matt. Can you discuss the testing protocol?
I'm going to let Matt and Mike take this one.
Yeah, for the exact testing protocol, we'll have to get stuff back with the team on that one, and we can communicate that back out to the participants.
So let me just add to that, to what Matt said. So some of this we're going to be evolving as we go. One of the reasons for our team on this end for those letters of intent is actually to kind of get a sense of what's coming in so we can prepare how best to do some testing around this. There's the labs at Moen are really robustly equipped, not only for just kind of like very direct lab testing, but also in terms of simulating a home and some of the way that the faucets and sinks and even smart home technologies might be connected. So there's a potential range here for how that testing occurs, but we'll have more information for you as time goes by.
And Evie, I know there are, can you outline the prize dollars involved?
Mhm. So the totals for award are somewhere going to be somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000. The variance on this has to do with the fact that we anticipate there may be more than one really significant standout device here. We are essentially planning that there's going to be one winner there, but we may end up doing some kind of a split where it's 15 for first place, 5,000 for second place. Mm-hmm. So again, we'll kind of see what comes in and what all of you innovators out there come up with.
Yeah, we had a couple questions coming in just about some more general information about where you can find all of this, how you can submit, how you can find the RFT. So if you go to clevelandwateralliance.org/innovate, you can also just go to our general website, go to programs, go to innovate, click around there. So we have 2 RFTs live now. We're talking about the Moen residential point of use contaminant detection currently. So you can scroll through our website and find all of that information here. We have another webinar coming up on March 31st. So after you read through all of this information, after you get more familiar with the outlines of the RFT, when you have some more in-depth questions, we are going to reconvene with a webinar so you can ask those follow-up questions. So all of that information, the full RFT is available there, as well as signing up for the second webinar. Let's see what other questions we have coming in here. 1 second. Knowing how the testing is performed is critical to understanding what solutions will work and whether teams should apply. Does anyone want to make a comment about that?
Yeah, so we understand how testing is important, and that'll kind of inform how you're judged. So we'll try to get that together and get that out to the team as soon as possible. We understand the critical nature of that.
There are, I will just point out that within the RFT itself, there are specific criteria that will be used for how things are tested and how they're judged. So, for example, at what level is it desirable to see feedback on the concentration of a particular contaminant? To what level do we want to see detection? And in terms of, what kind of connectivity might be used for the devices. So some of that very specific detail is within the RFT itself. And, in terms of how that occurs within the lab, it sounds like Matt will be able to provide some more information as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Evie, is that when we do talk about specific levels of contamination, it is outlined in there, and what would we consider excess and what levels, parts per million, parts per billion we'd like to get to. That's all outlined in there. So that's a good point, Evie. That is in there.
So that might answer our next question then to Matt. Does the design need to consider all lead, arsenic, radium, chromium-6, TTHM, copper, or can the design focus on selected species?
We would like to capture all of the elements listed there, not just strictly a small subset of them.
I will say though that submit if you have the ability to detect some subset, submit. And it may in fact be a standout from other people that are submitting. So, there's interest here in each of those contaminants, and it's possible that down the line, maybe Matt, that different devices might be joined together or
That's a great point, Evie. Like why we want to capture all those. If you can do a very efficient job at capturing 1 or 2 or 3 of those, we may be able to pair solutions together. So it's if you can't capture all of them, still let's see what the options are, and then you can still come out on top for sure.
Yeah, great. The last question that came in, I think, was just reiterating detecting all in one device, and it seems that that is the goal here.
Yep.
I think that is the ultimate goal. I mean, these are priority contaminants for, for monitoring in the home. And so that's the ultimate goal. But again, if you have something that's effective at some subside, submit. Don't be shy about that, because this could represent a pathway to that goal, even if it's not an all-in-one right up front.
And then there's a follow-up question to that. So the constraint is less than $50, and I'm assuming that's the consumer price, and size should fit under the sink. Anything else that I'm missing? So I believe all of that information can be found in the full RFT. Anything else to add on to that, Evie and Matt?
I think the $50 threshold, I believe, is the actual cost of goods. So that's a little bit different than the price.
Okay.
So the actual cost of making the device, of producing the device, is that $50 threshold, recognizing that how it's priced to the customer may
Got it.
be different.
Great.
That's correct, Evie. Yeah.
Great questions. So as we mentioned, you can go to clevelandwateralliance.org/innovate. You can find the full RFT there. You can register for our second webinar on Wednesday, March 31st at 11 a.m. As you start to look into this information and develop more in-depth questions as you start to plan ahead. Evie, Matt, Mike, anything else that you guys want to end with here?
You guys ready?
Sorry, Mike, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because all the participants, it's just by the nature of this innovation that's, figured out for us, trying to put this into a consumer's home to fit, perfectly the confines of
Mike, it was kind of hard to hear you.
Really, yeah.
But no, we really do appreciate everyone joining and participating. We're really looking forward to the ideas you guys come up with. And I think, Evie said it best, that, if we can't capture all these ideas and we can capture some of them, we're really looking forward to see what you guys come up with. Innovation is really an important part of Moen and how we got started 75 years ago to the point where we are now. It's always focused on innovation. So the solutions you guys come up with will be really important in our future. So we're really looking forward to this.
Indeed, we are. So just a reminder to, keep track of the schedule. Like I said, we're trying to give you as much time as possible to kind of gather your ideas and try some things out. We're very excited to be partnering with Moen. Moen's a very respectful firm in terms of intellectual property. If some of these devices already have IP in place or underway, we have available for you to review in advance the mutual non-disclosure agreement. If you are invited to do the testing, that Moen is very respectful of ensuring that your rights are protected. And from there, we'll be excited to provide you with some additional insights and answering more of your questions as things evolve. As Sam mentioned, in the next upcoming webinar, more information ahead. And thanks so much for responding. We're looking forward to your responses.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We'll send out this recording shortly so you can share it with everyone who couldn't attend. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.